Hey, Eric GS here, bringing you some more Assassin's Creed content, but with a little change of pace today. I had asked in my prior video if you guys had any questions you wanted to ask me, and I got a few responses, so I'm going to try to answer as many of the questions as I can today. But before we actually get to the questions, just a little bit about me. I'm a huge video game fan, been gaming since the NES, so still have my Super Marios sitting there in my room. Um, the real thing that got me into gaming was Final Fantasy VIII, which is my favorite video game of all time. I'm a huge RPG guy. The PlayStation is kind of what launched me into playing games more often. PS2 was probably the system I used the most, and thus why I moved on to the PlayStation 3. Assassin's Creed was a game I actually stumbled on by accident. It was a gift given to me by my family, and I loved Altair, and I loved the setting, and I loved that the game was a little change of pace from all the shooters and the action-adventure games I've ever played before. So, kept following the series. Assassin's Creed 2 is probably top 5 on my PS3 of games. The improvement from 1 to 2 was so great. Also introduced Ezio, which is probably one of my favorite video game characters of all time. Ended up playing Brotherhood. Got into the multiplayer of that a lot too, but that's when I actually started watching more vids on YouTube, learning about the people that produce them, and that actually thrust me to join a clan, the Happy Turrets. So, been playing the multiplayer only for about a year now, and jumped into Revelations, and that's when I was like, hey, maybe I could upload some content. So, I started recording videos over the last couple of months, and just recently started uploading them. So let's get to the questions. The first one's from Oreos asking, why is fire hot? The science nerd in me wants to answer this question, Oreos, but we're just going to push that off and go to your second question, which is, what are your goals in life? Professionally, I would like to teach. Ideally, I would like to teach biology and or chemistry. Two subjects that I feel I'm pretty knowledgeable in, and two things I feel that I can make easier for students to learn. Science is usually a subject that some kids have trouble with or have a little mental block because they think it's too difficult, and I just want to try to make it a little bit simpler and a little bit more fun, which I think most teachers aren't doing, to get kids interested in the sciences again. Science and art, I feel, are neglected a lot, so I hope that I can make a difference from where I stand, where I teach, and hopefully get the sciences to be more important to students and their families. But goals, I'm a huge sports fan, so I would like to see a lot of sporting events in person, and I also love to travel, so that's a good combo of things for goals in my life. I want to go see a World Cup in person. Location doesn't matter, but I would love to go see just all those countries in one place enjoying a game. I think that's the most magical part about the World Cup. But I also love tennis, so one of my personal goals is to go see all the Grand Slam tournaments. So I would love to go see Wimbledon in England, go see the Australian Open in Melbourne, go see the French Open in Paris, and go see the US Open here in New York. So that would be another goal of mine. Donuts ask, Eric, why are you so awesome? Well, you're only as cool as the company you keep, Donuts. So I have awesome friends, awesome family, awesome clanmates, so that makes me, I guess, awesome by association, because I don't think I'm that cool. I'm actually pretty shy. I'm a little reserved. So the fact that you think I'm awesome makes me feel really good, and I'd like to thank you, because you guys are more awesome than I can ever be. Laddie McCrispy asks, what ACB map would I like to be brought back to ACR that hasn't been brought back already? I think that I basically like any map but Alhambra. Alhambra is pretty roofy. So whenever Alhambra's picked, I always just cringe, just because I dislike that map so much. Whenever we played on ACB with the turrets, it was our designated Super Pro map. So whenever we played Alhambra, I had a gun, I had some knives, because I despise playing any game mode seriously on Alhambra. It's difficult to try to find someone in the roofs of Alhambra, and it's also not conducive to a good scoring game when you're trying to get your silent incognito, just because you have to run around so much to find somebody. But looking at the list here, the map I think I wanted to bring out is probably Pienza. It's also a little bit roofy, but Pienza is also a good map for the team modes, which I like to play. I would like to see how Pienza would play for chest capture again. I would like to see how Steal the Artifact would work with Pienza, because it's got Rainey's tower there, so we get to hide up on the tower. But I'd also like to check um, the deathmatch layout for Pienza. Deathmatch is probably the best mode for me on Assassin's Creed Revelations. But I think they could implement it even a little further. They always give you the same quarter of the map. I would like to have seen of if maybe they can break up more parts of the map to add a little bit more variety to the actual deathmatch gameplay and see how players adapt to that. But I guess my answer for that question is going to be Pienza. Caddy Cool and Azzy also ask, are you getting an Xbox 360? And my answer is yes. I've been planning on buying an Xbox for a little while. What's pushed me towards it, though, is actually Mass Effect 3, not Assassin's Creed Revelations. Mass Effect 3 is coming out in March, and I'm going to play a crap ton of that multiplayer for Xbox and for PS3. So looking forward to playing with Azzy and Queasy and Sarah and Kira and Laddie. So I'm waiting for all you guys eventually when I get my Xbox. Azzy also asks, what's the best kill you've ever accomplished? There's actually one that's pretty funny ACR wise in this video. I got a focus poison on a guy on the bench, which I thought was pretty cool. But overall kills, I guess first playing ACB and being a noob and learning how to play the game, and free running, and then eventually jumping off a roof and pouncing on somebody with my doctor. That's probably the best kill I've ever played. Learning that I can get more points for being acrobatic and for coming from the roof and getting hit-ins. So just the amount of variety that you can have was probably the coolest part of the game for me, and why I still play the multiplayer, because so many different play styles can play and try to duke it out to see which could come out on the top in that particular match. So points wise, it's probably going to be like, without any bonuses, I guess, probably maybe like 2,800 point kill with like hit-ins and like a streak and poison. But that doesn't really matter to me. I'm not really worried about points. I'm really worried about whether or not I'm having fun first, and then two, whether or not I'm playing the game the way it's intended to be. So trying to be a little bit more cautious, a little bit more sneaky. I'm a little bit more defensive minded as a player, so just try to see if I can find my targets and try to figure out the best way to go about things. But Patch also asks, what is it specifically about the Assassin's Creed games that draws you into the franchise? I'm all about the game's basis in reality with the sci-fi element. Assassin's Creed is really good about having locations, time periods, interesting historical figures in each of their games, while adding their own story, their own mythology with the assassins and the Assassin's Order. So that is what drew me into the game originally. Assassin's Creed 1 might have been a little bit technically flawed with how some of the combat was a little bit slow, some of the repetitiveness of the missions, but I played all the way through because the story was just so awesome. I kept wanting to figure out why I was giving these contracts, why I was working with Abu Alim, why I was trying to figure out the connection between all these Templars, and what does that mean for my immediate character Desmond in the future. So the game has a little bit of an emotional connection, and I'm just very curious, so they weren't giving too many answers. So playing through and finding out little tidbits of information is kind of what has me still in the series, and trying to figure out what's coming up next in the future endeavors in the Assassin's Creed universe. And the last question I'm going to get to today is, Patch also asks, who influenced me and my playstyle the most within the Assassin's Creed community? There's a lot of content. There's a vast network of directors and people who upload content and people who upload AMVs and music videos. There's just so much Assassin's Creed stuff out there. But immediately I'd have to first thank my two clan leaders, so Blee and Rainy. Thank you guys. One, for allowing me to be in your clan, and two, for the awesome content you put up. Always a giggle when watching Blee and Rainy. Cutest voices in the world. Always fun to hear, but also just to learn about the playstyle. I'm probably a little bit more defensive because of Rainy. Learning how to use my smoke on time. Still haven't convinced me that mute works, but I'll eventually try. And just also learning the ropes from some of the tutorial videos. Loomer, who's actually just put up his Machinima series. That's some great stuff. Even a player who's been playing for a little while learned a couple of new things just on how to use abilities, new things of how to get your points up, how to work with your teammates. I also like El3 a lot. His commentaries are really cool, and he's also about his subscriber base as well. So those are a few directors that I like to watch. The Team 2012 stuff always makes me laugh. Esco always keeps you up to date on information. So there's a lot of directors, but probably the most for my playstyle probably gonna be Rainy, Blee, and Loomer, which are clanmates of mine. And part of the reason why I play with them because I want to get better. So thank you guys, and that's pretty much the end of the Q&A there. You guys have any other questions that you feel that you want to learn about me? Anything else that wasn't answered here? If I missed a question, I'm sorry. Just leave another question in the comments. Hopefully get to them in a future video. Thank you again for your time, and have a great day.